So good morning everybody, and welcome to week 5. As we get ready for assembly, we normally listen to Mr. DJ playing some music. Mr. DJ, what do you have for us this morning? And we're going to enjoy listening to it, I'm sure.
This is Salut d'amour by Sir Edward Elgar.
Yes, lovely as ever, Mr. DJ. Thank you very much for playing that. A lovely, calm start to the day.
Thank you, Headmaster.
Yes, of course. And thank you also for the work with the senior choir. That's been terrific. So I've come here today to start assembly because Mrs. Cheeseman has sent me something. And I'm going to read what she writes here. Mrs. Cheeseman wants me to mention the Nessie results from the week before this. Nessie is a free program that helps with spelling, reading and typing. Mrs. Cheeseman wanted me to mention Charlotte Matthew, Ollie Goldby, Archie Ware, Sienna Jeans, Will Geddes and Humphrey Cooper Smith for the time and effort they have put in on the Nessie, leading to them being top of various categories. Also well done to Morris, who completed all the writing beach activities, and to Theo and Alfie for working hard on Nessie. Mrs. Cheeseman, I understand, is rewarding people who are getting involved in that. Now I'm going to go up those steps behind me, up towards art for the next bit. So here we are. Just pop into this room because Miss P has asked me to make some mention. So again, I'm going to read you what Miss P has put here. Morning, Mr. Chippendale. Please can I give an art mention this week to the following pupils for regularly getting involved with and completing the weekly art assignments and/or art card tasks. Well done to Eugene Lowe, Phoebe Thea and India Air, Annie DJ, Wilf Gosling, Charlie Sidhu, Sam Douglas, Adam Lowry, Nick Dutoy and to Danning Zhang. These are my art stars this week, writes Miss P, and more to follow next time, so keep the wonderful work coming in. Do have a look on the school Twitter account for some more examples of the work, and you can get to that Twitter account if you can't find it straightforwardly by clicking on the bird Twitter icon at the top of our webpage. I'm going to pop through. Come along this way, we'll go through into DT. Hope this isn't too wobbly for you. Of course, this is the DT room. And there's stuff here that Mr. Stannett would like me to put in Thomas Rue with his challenge on the egg drop. Can you get it to survive as it comes down the fall?
There it is.
And then some pictures of bridge challenges. Very impressed with the year 7 and 8 work that has been going on with a number of you putting time and effort into your constructions, and some serious bits and pieces being put together, and some very impressive load-bearing constructions. And then a little bit of Zach Vikusic, who has been working on a sundial. A long time, a lot of effort spent measuring, calibrating, and then wonderfully burning in, using the sun itself, the markings for a sundial. Really lovely, Zach, well done. And then, of course, can't resist some pictures from Mr. Stannett of food, particularly lovely one of Rue about to tuck into his VE Day pie there. And well done those of you continuing with your baking. So as you can see, I've come to the IT room, and I'm here for two reasons. One, to talk a bit about Teams, and to share an IT activity that's happened. Well done with your use of Teams. We're all having to get used to it, and have got used to it pretty quickly, I would say, and we're now using it pretty efficiently, and it does, of course, exist mainly to link us up so that we can get on with the learning and set the activities and tasks that we hope you will enjoy doing. But it does link us socially as well, and that's important whilst we're separated. And thank you for your sensible use of it. By and large, you've been very mature. But I do need to remind you that you're not allowed to take children, you're not allowed to take photographs of any lessons, you're not allowed to make any recordings of any lessons. And if you do have any of those, you should delete them. That is a very strong line. No recording or taking photographs of the team's live lessons that are going on there. The activity I wanted to share with you, I know that within Teams there's an enormous amount of information that you can get involved in, and one of the tasks that Mrs. Thomas has set you in the computing activities is to do a bit of animation. So here is a stop frame animation, and it is done by Frankie. You should remember that I'm sharing it with you because of the care, the patience, the skill, the accuracy, and the commitment that she's made to getting the piece of work done. So we're looking at the skills involved in producing the piece, not just, and it's not about the content that's in there. And I need to warn you that I'm afraid some of you may be upset by the content of this little clip, and it's a reminder that not all fairy tales end happily ever after. By the way, the music that I've put on it, I've added. It's not Frankie's. Well, there you go. And of course, it's not real, and no dogs were harmed in the making of that film. I wanted to flick back to a bit of VE Day work now, and this one particularly because it's by Henry in Year 3, and it's charming, and it involves him researching and writing about a 97-year-old World War II naval veteran who resides near him. So if you want to read all of it, do just pause and watch it and have a look again later. So here I am in one of our Year 8 tutor rooms. I'm sure you'll recognise it's Mr. Morgan's, and I was wondering actually what those of you in Mr. Morgan's tutor group are doing for your Treat Tuesdays at the moment, or whether that has fallen victim to the situation we find ourselves in. Anyway, the reason for coming to a Year 8 tutor room is to share a little bit of Year 8 work here, and some of them have been working on 3-line Japanese haiku poems, and they're about getting in touch with nature, haiku poems. And here is one from Beth. And then also, as you've probably read in newsletters and the like, 8S have been putting together their projects. And I thought I'd share you an insight from one. This is Eugene's. Lots and lots of great work going on. But I thought I would just give you an insight into the sort of display boards they put together, the QR codes they create, making some of their own work. So Eugene has written a composition as they explore whatever their question is. So over to you, Eugene.
This is my presentation with my final display. These are some brochures of the places you can visit. And then there's some CDs that we had. And then there's some artwork of the artist. There's the final quiz. And then the answers are here. I did a few QR codes, one of my composition, just to put it on there.
So I've come to the front of the school here to finish up assembly today. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the situation that we find ourselves in and how it's for quite a long period of time. And I wanted to read you a poem, a piece of prose that I first came across quite a long time ago. It's about the danger of waiting for something special ahead, so you might not make the most of what is happening now. It's called The Station by Robert Hastings, and he uses the metaphor that we're on a long train journey as we live our lives. He suggests that without really knowing it, that's what's called subconsciously, we spend too much time and we pin too much hope on the future. We can see lots of lovely things around us as we pass them, but are we too focused on what we hope might happen when we get to the station to take time and enjoy what is in front of us now? Anyway, this is The Station by Robert Hastings. Tucked away in our subconscious minds is an idyllic vision. We see ourselves on a long, long trip that almost spans the continent. We're travelling by passenger train, and out of the windows we drink in the passing scene of cars on nearby highways, of children waving at a crossing, of cattle grazing on a distant hillside, of smoke pouring from a power plant, row upon row of corn and wheat, of flatlands and valleys, of mountains and rolling hills, biting winter and blazing summer, cavorting spring and the docile autumn. But uppermost in our minds is the final destination. On a certain day, at a certain hour, we will pull into the station. There'll be bands playing, flags waving, and once we get there, so many wonderful dreams will come true. So many wishes will be fulfilled, and so many pieces of our lives finally will be neatly fitted together like a completed jigsaw puzzle. How restlessly we pace the aisles, damning the minutes for loitering, waiting, waiting, waiting for the station. However, sooner or later, we must realize that there is no one station, no one place to arrive at once and for all. The true joy of life is the trip. The station is only a dream. It constantly outdistances us. When we reach the station, that will be it, we cry. And translated, it means, when I'm 18, that will be it. When I buy a new 450 SL Mercedes-Benz, that will be it. When I put my last child through university, that will be it. When I've paid off the mortgage, that will be it. When I win a promotion, that will be it. When I reach the age of retirement, that will be it. I shall live happily ever after. Unfortunately, once we get it, then it disappears. The station somehow hides itself at the end of an endless track. Relish the moment is a good motto, especially when coupled with Psalm 118, verse 24, which reads, "This is the day the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." It isn't the burdens of today that drive people mad. Rather, it's regret over yesterday or fear of tomorrow. Regret and fear are twin thieves who would rob us of today. So stop pacing the aisles and counting the miles. Instead, climb more mountains, eat more ice cream, go barefoot more often, swim more rivers, watch more sunsets, laugh more, and cry less. Life must be lived as we go along. The station will come soon enough. So there we go. Those are some thoughts from Robert Hastings and a bit of a metaphor for life. I was going to offer this week a Chips challenge as well, actually, and some have asked about the last Chips challenge. So here is a video that I sent to those who gave me the correct answers, so you'll be able to see who was the winner. I hope you enjoyed it, Augusta. I'll throw you another Chips challenge today based on that reading. So, what is the longest single train journey, that means no changes, that you can make within the UK? And what is the name of the legendary trains that make the longest train journey in the world? Well, this time there's going to be no particular prize, but do email me your answers. We're going to sing a hymn now, so I'll get our hymn book.
As this Lord Jesus shall return again, with his Father's glory, with his angel train, for all wreaths of empire meet upon his brow, and hearts confess him King of glory now.
And as it was hymn 16, let's sing prayer 16 in the front of the book. So let us pray, and we will say together, "Teach us, good Lord, to serve thee as thou deservest, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labour and not to ask for any reward, save the joy of knowing that we do thy will. Amen." So that's the end of assembly this morning. I hope it's okay, Mr. Hayden. I borrowed one of your retort stands so that I could hold it when I was reading Robert Hastings' poem. This is the last assembly before half term, so We have 5 more days to go until half term, so keep at it, children. Keep working hard for all of these 5 days. Enjoy the rest when it comes. There is some talk about some children may be able to come back to school after that, but given the health regulations that are in place, coming back to school will not be at all like you think it might be, so we will manage that as it goes along. Please don't suddenly think that it's going to be as things were. And a quick message to Year 8, we certainly understand that the difficulties of you not returning as our leavers are important, and I'll be writing to your parents this week. We do want to do as many of the normal things that we can, even if it's virtually, given these circumstances. So have a good few days, everybody, as you head into half term. As I said, keep working. There are 5 days to go. Bye-bye for now.